Alyssa Enriquez, and today I'm going to be talking to all of you about a Filipino cultural folk dance called Tinikling. And I wanted to start off this video by showing you all what the dance looks like, so right now I'm going to insert a clip from UCLA's PCN performance. Seen what the dance looks like, and for Tinikling traditionally, only 4 people are required. One person stands at each end of the 2 bamboo sticks, and then they squat and clap the sticks together in a rhythm. The 2 people in the middle are a boy and a girl, and they dance and jump in between the sticks, being sure to not hit their ankles. This dance is a lot harder than it looks because it requires a lot of precision with time, it requires them to maintain their balance, and it's a lot of work with your partner and trusting them. In addition to this, the tempo and speed of the music of the dance increases throughout the time, making the dance a lot more difficult, and the reason for that is to keep the audience entertained. Okay, so now that you all know what Tinikling is and how it looks, let's get into its history. With it being one of the oldest dances of the Philippines, its story of origin hasn't necessarily been confirmed, but there are 2 of them that are very popular, which I'm going to share with you. The first one being that during Spaniard colonization, the Filipinos were forced to work on these fields, and if the Filipinos didn't work fast enough or hard enough or well enough, the Spaniards would place them in the middle of the field and then put them in between 2 bamboo sticks and then squish their ankles so they would be in pain. Then the Filipinos started to jump out of them and in them to prevent it, which would eventually lead to what is arguably one of the most famous dances of the Philippines, Tinikling. And the second story is that the dance is mimicking the Tinikling or Rallis bird, and the reason for this is because the bird was notorious for ruining the rice crop, and rice is the most important staple food of the Philippines. So the harvesters, they would place these bamboo traps all over the rice fields to catch the bird and kill it, but the bird was able to still move around it and get through it, and eventually the Filipinos created a dance mimicking it. So when we think about what does this dance say about Filipino culture, it is really important to note that Filipinos really treasure all forms of art like dance and music. It's always been a way to express themselves and celebrate, and they've been able to create so many different kinds of dances, and Tinikling is just one of many. And honestly, I think that Tinikling is a symbolization of the strength and resilience of Filipinos because they were able to create such a beautiful and entertaining dance from hardships, whether that hardship was Spaniard colonization or a ruined rice crop. Tinikling has spread all across the world, especially in the United States. Some elementary schools and high schools here have even implemented it into their physical education classes to allow for students to learn about different cultures while staying active and having fun. I think that's a really cool thing because it allows for even more people to learn about my culture and heritage. But where it's most seen is in college campuses where they have Filipino clubs that perform at their Filipino cultural nights, just like the one that I showed earlier. And while not all of it is really traditional, they add some hip-hop dance moves, some hip-hop music, some different tricks, and it's not how it used to be done, but things like that are really important to keep the dance alive and relevant and keep more people wanting to learn about it. I was fortunate enough to be able to interview 2 women who immigrated from the Philippines and were forced to learn Tinikling as a part of their school curriculum. I thought that was really interesting because the Philippines obviously makes it a very big point to continue traditions. What was also interesting though was that they don't teach the kids about the meaning or the origin of the dance. They just teach them the choreography and then make them perform it for little assembly type of things. So the first woman that I interviewed, she didn't really find interest in learning the dance. She kind of just did it for school and never really had to do it again. But she did express that it was a very difficult dance to learn in comparison to the other dances that she has performed before. The second woman, on the other hand, really enjoyed her time performing Tinikling, and she ended up continuing to do so in festivals or celebrations and all that stuff. She also expressed that it was really difficult to her, but she also said a quote that really stayed with me and I wanted to share it with you guys. She said, "This dance is one of the most important memories that I keep with myself because it reminds me of my culture and my youth. I'm happy that you are learning about it because that means it's still alive." And that really shows how much the Filipinos want to preserve and spread their culture. And I think it's really nice that people are doing it in colleges and people are showing it to more people and just spreading it all over the place. I think that's a very beautiful thing. And I just want everyone to remember that it came from a place of hardship and they were able to develop that into something so beautiful and so fun and an entertainment. So yeah, while Tinikling may just be a dance for some, it has a very strong meaning for many people. And I really hope that you all learned a little bit more about my Filipino culture and heritage and enjoyed my presentation.